welcome back to my channel Build and Sew with Andy. My name is Andy Afolabi. I want to thank you, my viewers, my subscribers, friends and well wishes for being supportive, and to my new subscriber I tell you welcome. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button now. Today is going to be an interesting topic because I'm going to talk about issues that cut across women in general. So I want to talk about one factor that contributes to hair loss, damage and breakage. That is lack of self-care and mishandling our hair. We need to care and nourish our hair because according to an ancient wise writing, it says that hair is our glory, and this hair serves as covering, it serves as protection from harmful environs. It also beautifies us, it adores us. So we should care for our hair accordingly. So what are those self-care we can do? It's not necessarily we go to a professional to care for our hair, because we cannot have professional every day with us 24/7. So we have to be a professional ourselves in caring for our hair by providing adequate care, the minimum care we know we can give to our hair by doing that. So that is self-care. So what are those self-care that we want to talk about today? One is moisturizing our hair. We have to keep on moisturizing our hair because when hair is dry and it lack necessary moisture, it can make the hair to start breaking, it can make the hair to get tangled, it can make the hair to start shedding excessively. So we have so many natural moisturizer. You have homemade. We also have across the counter moisturizer that you can purchase from the market or from a store across the world. Another self-care we want to talk about is hold your hair in place. You have to hold your hair in place, especially at night when you want to sleep. According to research, it is advisable to hold your hair up when you want to sleep. So this allows the air that is generated in the scalp to be evenly distributed. So when this oil is evenly distributed, it allows even hair to grow on our hair. Another crucial factor, the most important one, because this is our focus in this discussion, is covering of our hair, preferably at night or whenever you want to sleep. It is very important to cover your hair because when you cover your hair, the benefit is one, it protects your hair from tangling and it holds your hair in place. It also generates heat, and this heat, it will encourage sebum to be produced, and when sebum is produced, this encourage hair to grow. So this is very, very important to cover your hair at night. It is also better, just as I've said, to hold your hair in place when you want to sleep to avoid hair breakage, and as I've said, it helps to distribute natural oil from your scalp throughout the rest of the hair. And I want to share one interesting source with you that talk about when you provide a protective and restorative self-care to your hair. How does this source summarize it? It says it is a nice, mentally soothing self-care ritual. So what is this saying? That is a very comforting procedure to care for your hair. You even feel you feel less itchy. For those people who have itchy scalp, it reduces dandruff, it reduces accumulated dirt under your hair. So today we want to focus on how to make hair covering. We have different type of hair covering. We have air bonnet, we have satin bonnet, we have Ankara bonnet, whichever bonnet you want to do. Some people even said, okay, the bonnet is too dry, I want it to be a little bit fancy, they add ruffle to it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make hair covering. Hair covering. Let's go there. So viewers, this is the fabric I want to use for the hair bonnet. So you don't have to be a seamstress. You can sew this hair bonnet with just a needle and a thread, and you are good to go. So one thing you should notice that this any hair bonnet you want to make is formed from a circle. It may be manipulated in one way or the other, but the basic foundation of any bonnet is a circle. So we want to cut a circle. How do you get a circle? You form a square and you rhyme it up. That is a perfect square. So the square now depends on the size of bonnet you want to make. If you want to make the one that is so voluminous and big because of people that carry bigger braids, you can make it more bigger. But if you want to make the medium size to large, fetus size, you can just measure like 26 by 26 in length. So the one I want to make with this one is with ruffle. So I'm going to use like out of the 13 inches, because I divide 26 inches by 2, that is 13. So out of the 13 inches, I'm going to use 1 inch as a ruffle, then ½ inches for sewing. So the remaining one will be for the size of my hair bonnet. So and you measure the square, because this is like a square, but I folded it into 2 because I want to cut it in 2 places. So after folding it in 2 places, I'm going to fold it again. So if it is a square that you form, this will be your first fold. So and your second fold will come this way. So after folding it this way, you are going to measure this way, this 15, measure across here, this 13.5, measure across here, this 14, so make sure across here, this 14.5. So now the most important thing is that your size, you must be able to remove your size from your measurement. So my size is 13 or 13.5. So I will be able to take up my size from all the measurements. So you now note where you have all the edges folded, where there's no any opening in the fabric. That is where you start your measurement from. So we are going to start our measurement accordingly from that edge. So I'm going to try to align the fold to be even. So I'm going to align all the fabric to make sure that everything is aligned. So just as I've said, from the folded edge where there's no any opening from here, I'm going to start to measure the size of my bonnet. So as I have said, it's 13.5. So 13.5 stop here. So I'm going to rotate the 13.5 accordingly. I'm going to rotate it. You can see 13.5 carry all the fabric to the end. So after rotating it, I'm going to connect it like so. I'm just going to connect. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. I'm just going to connect the line. So I'm going to connect the line and cut it out. So guys, I've cut it. I'm going to open it. So I'm going to mark the wrong side. I'm going to mark, though it's easily detected in this satin, but I think I have to mark this. I have to mark the wrong side and the right side. So there's the wrong side. This is the wrong side because it's 2. And this is the wrong side. So I'm going to pick up one and open it. You can see how big it's looking. So it depends on the size you want to make. Yours must not be as big as this. But this is the wrong side. This is the right side. Right side facing right side. I'm going to lay it. You can see how it's looking. Right side facing right side. So if it doesn't match perfectly, never mind, doesn't matter, but the difference must not be too significant. That is, the difference will not be too much. So if it's too much, you can trim it, but if not, you can let it be. So now I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew it round with 1/2 inch. So after I sew it round, I'm going to let you see the next step. So guys, I've sewed it round. So I'm going to turn it. I leave a small opening here. I didn't sew it all the way. I leave a small opening where I will turn it to the right side. Then I'm going to give it a good press. So guys, I've given it a good press. I've turned it to the right side. I've given it a good press. This is how it's looking. So the next thing now is for me to mark the ruffle. The first one I'm going to make is the Waffle Air Bonnet. So the ruffle, I want to make it 1.5 inches. So I've marked it round. I'm just going to connect the line accordingly. Just going to link the line together. So this is the 1.5 inches ruffle. That is my first line. So after the first line, I'm going to make mark for elastic casing. So it depends on the width of the elastic you're using. That depends on this mark. As for me, I'm going to mark 1 inch. 1 inch is enough for me for the elastic casing. So I'm going to connect like so. I'm going to connect like so. So I mark 1.5 inches for the ruffle. I mark 1 inch for the elastic casing. So now I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew on 2 circles. I'm going to sew this one. So this one will form the ruffle. I want my ruffle to be a little bit voluminous. So I'm going to mark the elastic casing, which is 1 inch. So my bonnet will be approximately 20 inch across and 10 inches by half. So that would be the size. So that means because I use like 13 and half, I use half inches to hold it. So that means I use the other inches for the ruffle and the elastic casing. So you can work with your allowance as you wish, according to how you are comfortable. So I'm going to sew it. So after sewing it, not forgetting the space, when I sew my half inches inside, I left a space where I pull everything out. So I'm not going to sew close that space, because that is where I'm going to insert my elastic casing from. So I'm going to take it to sewing machine now and sew it round. So guys, for the second type of air bonnet, there is going to be a head wrap. The same measurement. So I just measure 1.5 inches. That would be my elastic casing. So I'm going to use this width of elastic, 1 inch. I'm going to insert it. After inserting it, I'm going to cut a long wrap, a long wrap that I'm going to attach to it in the front. And the long wrap is 5 inches on fold. The width is 5 inches on fold, and the length can be as much as you want, but this length is 45 times 2, that is 90 inches. So I'm going to cut it and sew it and attach it to the front after I've inserted my elastic. So this is the wrap. This is 45 times 2, so that will be 9 inches. So I'm going to split it into 2. That is the second type of head wrap. So this is one of the long wrap. I'm going to attach to one of the air bonnets. Head wrap. So I sew it from one end and also sew it to another end, and I will leave a gap at the middle. I will use this gap to bring it out. This is the gap, so I'll use this gap. I'll bring this one from outside to the inside here. So I'll bring from here to here, then I'll close this side. I'll give it a good press and close it. Then for the one that I'm going to put a ruffle, this is how it's looking. So I'm going to sew this one. I sew this way. This is the elastic casing. For the one that I'm going to attach the wrap, so I'm not going to put two casing there. It's just only one, the casing for just the elastic at the tip, and it's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to sew the two and show you. So guys, for the one that I'm going to insert the elastic and attach the long stripe for wrapping the head covering, I'm going to use this 1 inches elastic, and normally the circumference of head is like 22, 23 for adults. It depends. So the elastic size I'm going to use 19, but it depends on you. If you want it more firmer, you can reduce the elastic to 18 or 17, but I think 19 is okay by me. I'm going to make it 19. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to insert the elastic into this way. I'm going to insert it round. So this is the elastic. I've inserted it, so I'm going to run a stitch across as much as possible to secure the elastic. So guys, this is the air bonnet with the ruffle. So I'm inserting the elastic inside the elastic casing that I made, the 1 inch. So you can use safety pin to insert. If you don't have this, you can use any tools that you are comfortable with. So I'm going to take this one and secure it so that it doesn't go in with my tools. This way. So I'll grab the elastic, take it out. I'm going to take this one out. So I'm going to take both end of the elastic secure it together and run a stitch across. So I'm going to block it the same way. I'm going to put a gum stay to seal the mouth. Then I'm going to sew the remaining side. Then so guys, this is the air bonnet with a wrap. So the wrap is ready. I want to stitch it, so you decide which side you want it, whether it's the Ankara side or the plain side. But I want to use it for dual purpose. If I want to use it with the Ankara, I'll use this side. If I want to use it maybe at home to sleep or with other color, I'm going to tuck in all the wrap and use it plain. So I'm going to stitch it on this side. So I'm just going to run a stitch across, then it's ready to wrap. So I'm going to do like 2 or 3 wrap with the one side and the other side, so you see how beautiful it's looking. And as for the other one, look at it on my head. You can see it's so beautiful. You can see the way it's looking. It's beautiful. So you can make yours. You don't have any excuse to make yours. If you wear long braid, it can accommodate it. Can accommodate so many accessories. So you can see it's fancy. So this will motivate you to wear hair covering because it has so many benefits. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Stay tuned to my channel. See you in my next video. Bye bye.